can't see anything out
Yeah,
there.
be careful. I was coming down. It's really, really foggy.
Something to keep in mind as you're heading out to work or wherever you're going this morning. So I don't know why this seems to happen so often around here, but at least twice in the last week there's been a car run into a building. It happened at a business in Niles, then again involving a house in Youngstown. So if that happens, what does insurance cover? What happens if someone gets hurt, like we saw in that Niles situation? Attorney Dave Betras is here to break it down for us in Legally Speaking, but first he has another point of business that he wants to attend to.
Okay, so for all the fans out there of WFMJ today, I'm so terribly sorry. On Monday, I didn't bring them donuts, and four or five people reminded me of that. So from Landmark, look what he did. I brought him in croissants, apple fritters, bagel sandwiches. I brought in extra today, so no one say to me, Dave, why didn't you bring them in their donuts? And I didn't even let anyone touch any of them.
He wouldn't.
So all your fans were actually beating me up that I didn't bring you in donuts. So there you go.
He saw me lurking over there, and he's like, "No, don't touch it. We got to get it on camera first."
Right.
All right. Let's start with the basics of this. When there's a car and property damage involved, specifically like a building, house, or restaurant, business, something like that.
All right. So you have an automobile, and by Ohio law, you have to have insurance on that automobile. The minimum is $25,000. You have to have liability, and you also have what's called property damage. So if you hurt someone else's property, it'll pay for it. Most property damage claims, are 10, 15, 20,000.
Yeah.
So you run into someone's house, it could hurt. Unless the property damage portion of the policy is tied into the liability, then that'll cover it. So make sure you have insurance on your automobile. Make sure that if you have, even if you're a middle class person, I tell people the best thing you could do to protect yourself is raise your minimum or your deductible. That's where they get you. Everyone wants to go, I want to have $100, $200 deductible. That's where they get you. If you have like $1,000 in reserve funds, I tell people raise your deductibles up to $1,000. That saves you a lot of money and you can buy more insurance. Okay. For a middle class family, 2 parents working, you own a home, the minimum you should have is $100,000 and $100,000 in uninsured motorist coverage and uninsured property damage in case someone hits you that doesn't have anything. So, I always say you should go to your lawyer before you buy insurance so your lawyer can advise you what insurance you should get, because the insurance agents don't know the law as well as lawyers do.
That's interesting. So in the case of the car hitting the Niles restaurant, some people were dining inside and some employees, they were hurt during this. Does that go above and beyond? How does that all get sorted out when there's injuries?
So you have to look at the person's automobile and say they had state minimums. That means that person's insurance company doesn't have enough money to cover it. That person's still personally liable, but they can run over to bankruptcy court and wipe it all out. So what you hope is the people in the restaurant had their own insurance policy, okay, and they had uninsured motorist coverage on their own car. Now, one of the things the insurance companies is going to say is, well, you weren't operating your vehicle, and so therefore we're not going to cover your uninsured motorist coverage. So these policies you get, I know they're lengthy, and I know they can be confusing. But you should read them, and if there's portions you don't understand, because when you get the policy, it'll have basic definition of terms that the layperson really doesn't understand. Then they add addendums on them, and then exclusions and all the other things. So if you don't understand it, call in here on Monday or call into my radio show on Thursday, or ask to speak to a lawyer so they can explain those terms. But that policy is a contract between you and your insurance company. And that's what's going to determine what they're going to cover and what they're not going to cover.
I can't imagine how many people are watching it from home right now being like, man, I haven't read over that at all. I don't know. I don't necessarily
and here's
know.
Something else I want to tell everyone out there. Please listen to me. If you turn on TV, here's what you see. Drug commercials and insurance commercials. Shop your insurance every year. You'd be surprised how much money you can save. People, I go, how long have you been with this company? 33 years. They go, what, do you get a prize for that? They're spending millions of dollars saying they could beat the price. Shop your insurance. Every year I save $500 to $800 just shopping my insurance.
That's real money. Great advice,
It is
Dave.
real
Thank
money.
you so much. All right, coming up next, we're heading back out to Boardman. Andrew's